Hey everybody, welcome to Breakfast All Day. Alonso here with Matt and Christy. We are rioting with the true story of the Kelly gang.
It's not really the true story, though.
Not so
Not
Is
really.
it ever? That's always a caveat.
Well, so this movie starts
story.
out saying this is none of the things you're about to see are true, and then it morphs into true story of the Kelly gang. This is based off a fictionalized account of Ned Kelly's life. Ned Kelly is the famous or infamous, depending on which side you're on, Australian outlaw. Some people see him as a sort of Robin Hood type figure in the mid 18th or mid 19th century in Australia. Here he's played by George MacKay, who we'd seen in 1917. This is directed by, Christy, remind me?
Justin Kurzel,
Kurzel.
Australian director who also did a really cool version of Macbeth with Michael Fassbender a few years back.
And the super shitty Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, so we meet a young Ned Kelly as a boy, and his parents don't get along, and there's some, what seems like, his mother. We first meet his mom as she's servicing the local constable, who will kind of leave them alone, and Ned doesn't get along with his father, and then he gets sort of sold off to this other kind of thief, played by
Russell Crowe.
Crowe.
Who's pretty fun in this. And then Ned comes back as a young boy, and then ends up, ends up in jail, learns to be a boxer, comes back as a man, yada, yada, yada. This really wants to be this kind of like almost Southern Gothic type story. It's got a lot to say, and I don't know that it's saying any of it particularly well.
It's staying with a lot of style, though.
It's done with a lot of style that works okay until it just goes off the rails. And one of the things I have to say, because early on in this movie, I was thinking, God, I kind of wish I was seeing this on a big screen. And then by the end of it, I was like, no, now I'm glad. And I will say, if you are the type of person who is, has physical reactions to strobe lights, be careful about this goddamn movie.
Yeah,
it's a big section. Yeah,
a lot of it, and totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
So much is so unnecessary in this movie. Here's a fun fact I discovered with a little Googling. The whole thing about like, hey, let's wear dresses while we go on crazy like criminal marauding runs to freak out the British. They made it up.
That's all made
happens.
up for the novel. That's all made up for the novel.
Yeah. So like even by the notion of like this is an outsized history and we're not hewing to the truth, if you're going to go off the page, then go be more interesting about it. I don't know. I just there have been like a million Ned Kelly things. Like we don't get a lot of it in the U.S. Like there's the Mick Jagger movie and the
best one by far is the Yahoo Serious movie.
The Yahoo Serious movie, of course.
Yeah.
The
Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger played him in 2003, and I'm getting serious Heath Ledger vibes from George MacKay here.
There's a crazy Wikipedia page. There have been like musicals and like there's if you live in Australia, you've seen this story a gajillion times.
Right, I believe the first
I don't know
feature is a Ned Kelly movie from 1906.
Yeah, going all the way back to the dawn of cinema. So I don't know. It's like I get the idea, like there's occasional moments in this movie where they very aggressively use anachronistic music to sort of like jazz things up. But yeah, I just found this movie like, I think you said it well. It has a lot to say, but it doesn't know how to say any of it, and it just kind of throws all these ideas and performances and stuff at the wall. But you don't really come away with much of anything.
I liked it more than you guys did, and a lot of it is that like I am a sucker for that kind of style, and I appreciate that there's like a textural quality to this director's films, like the Macbeth he did and this one too. Like you can smell them. I mean, they're so sensual in ways, and not necessarily good ways, but like in the muck and in the mud, and there's a very tactile quality to them that's really immersive. From the very opening shot, the overhead shot of the horseback rider going through the forest, all the dead trees, and it's like an overhead shot that then like comes down along the side and falls in that way, and it really grabs you from the very first opening images. So the style for me and the performances for me made this worthwhile. everyone's good in it. Essie Davis is the director's wife, and she is just a tough character and full of conflicting instincts. And as a mom, I kind of got where she was coming from, even though she makes horrific decisions on her children's behalf.
She's
Crowe,
like the great grandmother of I can't remember, Jackie Weaver in
Animal Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom. I was getting some Animal Kingdom vibes from this too. Russell Crowe, it's like a brief but showy role for Russell Crowe. He delivers a line reading of "fuck off" that made me laugh out loud. It's so funny. I want to mention the kid who plays young Ned Kelly is really good. Orlando Schwert. He has this like wide-eyed kind of angelic look about him, but there's also this like mature self-possession beyond his years that's chilling, and he also gets to say something like "fuck these pancakes" that made me laugh. Or I don't want any fucking pancakes. It was something like that, and I was cracking
Nick
up.
says that all the time, right?
And I could see Nick saying that because he doesn't like pancakes anymore. He likes oatmeal these days. But it's like each person that Ned Kelly meets along the way helps shape him into the outlaw he will become. And so you've got his dad, you've got the Russell Crowe figure, you've got Nicholas Hoult who comes along, and he is and Charlie Hunnam somewhat, only in that it's like the kid's first chance to really rebel. And Nicholas Hoult comes along once Ned Kelly is an adult, and he is sort of the promise of what could be, but also ends up being who he rebels against. And I was just impressed. And Thomas Mackenzie's really good in it, and everyone's good in it. So I see that it's kind of just empty style in a lot of ways, but I dug it enough. And I dug the aggressively anachronistic kind of punk rock ethos about it. A lot of it looked like one giant long White Stripes video. And I'm okay with that.
I wish they had done more with it and like leaned into it more.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm there.
But it felt like just a sprinkle every now and then. You know?
Yeah, I apart from the punk song playing around the boxing scene, actually the rest of the score I liked. I thought it was a pretty solid string-based score, and it's beautifully shot. I'm not going to argue with that. But a lot of the kind of like gender bending storylines and like the homoerotic scenes between Nicholas Hoult and MacKay, like they kind of just come out of nowhere. Like
and MacKay and his best friend too.
Right. And I was like, did we miss a scene here? Did my stream shut down? Like it's just these. Yeah, it just feels like, if anything, it feels like I think somebody is missing like 10 or 15 pages out of the script in a few different places.
So here's how I interpreted that, was that it is like the Wild West out here in the wilds of Australia, and the rules don't apply and societal norms don't apply. So that's why I maybe felt like that was why that made sense to me, at least. I should mention really fast, since we are talking about how cool it looks, Ari Wegner is a DP who also shot In Fabric, which you liked, Matt.
Yes,
I know you liked the crazy possessed dress movie, and also shot Lady Macbeth, which is the movie that put Florence Pugh on the map.
Right.
Yeah, but
I agree with you about a lot of this. I mean, yeah, the acting is across the board interesting, and there's really a lot of fun performances. But I don't know. If this is the 10,000th Ned Kelly movie, I don't know why it is, or what it's trying to say that hasn't been covered in other areas of this mythos. And I don't know. I don't know why this movie exists, I guess, is my ultimate thing. It doesn't seem to have any real reason to be around, except look at all these amazing like Australian and British actors I can get,
George MacKay got cut. He got buff for this movie.
There's a lot of abs in this movie. Charlie Hunnam,
you can't have a movie. You can't have a Charlie Hunnam movie where he doesn't get naked.
That's true.
Come on.
Oh, and Nicholas Hoult wearing nothing but socks and garters.
A lot of nudity. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, not a lot of peeing in this movie, but there's a lot of like dudes not wearing anything that are like very suggestively covering himself.
We can hear Dave White.
I hear Dave laughing in the background. More peen, Alonso Duralde.
I'm not
Needs more
peen or not peen. I'm not. That's not the issue here.
That's his follow-up album of Beastie Boys.
There's plenty of male objectification here, and I got no problem with that.
I'm saying 7. I liked it better than you guys did.
I'm going to say 6.
Yeah, 6.3.
Okay, our number's at 6.2.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
All right, it is streaming as of today from IFC. You can get it in all the usual places, and you might turn the subtitles on because there's a lot of Australian mumbling, and I had a hard time with that, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe to this video, like our YouTube channel. Check out our social media over at BeFast All Day at Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. Got a ton of stuff happening there. We're wrapping up HBO's The Plot Against America this week, also looking at Westworld and Mrs. America, and Christy is taking a deep dive into all 10 hours of the Michael Jordan documentary on ESPN, The Last Dance, with people who are not Matt and me. So that might be a plus for you. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.